Hello. Hello. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been expecting you. Today, of all days, I've decided to tell you about a very important and special time in my life, which you definitely don't know about, which was when, as a child, I lived in Vietnam. There are a total of 3 stories that I want to tell you about today, but in order to spice things up and make it a little bit more exciting, I'm going to swim in the pool at the same time. The only thing that's different about this pool, which I'm planning on swimming in, is the fact that it's currently 9 degrees Celsius. 9 degrees.
You think you look good with that smile, don't you? Well, the truth is you do. Keep up the good work, baby cakes.
Not Farron, whatever the fuck. But it's still pretty damn cold. So let's get dressed. So in order to successfully carry out this pool thing, I have a pair of swimmers. Yep, and a pair of underpants, which I'm wearing. In fact, if I'm being completely honest with you, I've been having cold showers every morning for about the last 2 months.
You might be wondering why, and the reason is because I'm a cool dog and I ain't no pussy-ass bitch.
Due to some... I don't know, I just sort of got into it and I feel like it's good for you. Anyway, that water has been nowhere near 9 degrees. I mean, I put my hand in to just to change the leaves to... What's it called? The freaking creepy crawly, as we call it. The creepy crawly, to get the leaves out. My hands have gone numb in that short amount of time. I was actually doing some research about this yesterday. And the truth is, I found this table. And it had all these different values. And the most important of these was the time till death. And anyway, I found my 9 degrees and I looked across. And the time till death is approximately 1 to 3 hours. So if I sit in the pool for longer than 1 to 3 hours, then I might die. But of course, I'm not planning to do that because I'm not an idiot. Ready to go. This is all happening very fast, actually. But if I'm being completely honest, I've been thinking about this and worrying about it all day for the past couple of days, that I've gotten to the point where I just don't care. So I'm gonna get in. It's just how long I manage to stay in there. We've arrived. I just need to go to the toilet because you don't want to pee in your own pool. Okay, urinating done. And I forgot to say that this is the temperature thing. It's called a fucking thermometer that I used to check the temperature the other day. So what I'm going to do is chuck it in at the bottom of the pool where it's coldest, let it sit for a little while, and then I'm going to hop in and pick it up. So here's the plan. I'm going to hop in and swim really quick. Actually, not that quick, because I'm a pretty fucking slow swimmer, but as quick as I can in order to sort of heat up a little bit. And then I'm going to come to this corner here and tell my stories, probably in a rapid-fire way, but I can always slow it down. And, thought he might have been laughing at me. A bit narcissistic. Well, I guess there's nothing else that I can finish setting up with the camera for, so... it's time to do it. 3 stories about Vietnam. I cannot forget that. 3 stories. I'm gonna do the Wim Hof breathing method. Okay, I moved the camera again, but this is it. I promise. Well, there's a jet. I mean, I can't jump in when there's a jet flying past, so I guess we'll just have to wait for that to go. Look, if I'm completely honest, I heard that you should warm up your core body temperature before you jump in, so I'm just gonna do some push-ups. Okay, that's enough. I'm really not sure if I should do this. The thermometer is in the water, so I do have to retrieve that if it's the only thing I do. You know what? I'm just gonna do it. 9 degrees. It's not that big of a deal. Are we recording? Yep. Okay. Just checking. Ha! Psych! I have never, ever been in water this fucking cold. I'm just gonna swim for a bit, try to warm up to some degree. Okay. Okay. I've entered the same level of breathing that I normally do if I do anything like a run or something like that.
Ha! Ned, you don't run and you're not fooling anybody.
And my neck is actually hurting a little bit for some fucking reason. Anyway, I'm just reaching the point where it's a little bit more manageable. My legs are going a little bit tingly. I'm gonna check the temperature. Okay, so I got the thermometer and a rock, which I just dropped. No, I caught it with my foot. A rock. Okay. There's the rock. Alright, and here's the thermometer. Okay, don't know if you can see that. It says 10 degrees, which is what I was expecting. Which is what it fucking feels like. Okay, gotta make sure my hair looks good for the camera, you know? Okay. I used to live in Vietnam. Before that, we lived in Samoa, and that's because my dad was actually a water engineer. Oh, if I go like this, it's a little bit warmer because my shoulders aren't in. But I feel like I'm a bitch if my shoulders aren't in. So we're gonna bring it a little closer and hang off the edge like this, like a little wet puppy. I'm going insane. Okay, right. From the ages of like 4 to 7, we lived in Vietnam. So I had to go to school there, obviously, a little bit. And on my very first day of school, our school was a little different, actually. We used to have nap time, and we used to have to brush our teeth during the day because they fed us so much sugar. Anyway, I used to go to school. They used to say I was the top of the class, and I was doing very, very well. And I was in year 1 when we left, year 1, term 4. So almost year 2. And then we go to the school, turn up in Australia, and my parents are like, oh yeah, he's the top of the class. He can fit in, fine. The teacher asked me to write down all the words that I knew. So I did, and it was yes, no, mum, dad, Ned. She then called up my parents and said, we have a problem. So that was certainly interesting. And then I didn't know the alphabet either. By term 2, so that's like, I'm like 6 or 7 years old. You should know the alphabet by then. Anyway, I didn't. I'm feeling okay, it's still pretty cold. I'm just gonna dunk my head in. I don't know why, it feels like I'm cheating if I don't. Anyway, that happened. And then one time a substitute teacher came. She said, let's do the ABCs. I put up my hand. I said, I don't know how to do the ABCs. And she said, oh, don't be stupid. Yes, you do. You're 7 years old. And then the whole class in a chorus went, no, he doesn't. Anyway, that was story number 1. 1 of 3. And that first one was a little bit lame, I'll be honest with you. And I'm sorry about that. Anyway, on to the second story. At the school that I used to go to in Vietnam, we actually had a nanny in Vietnam, which was very convenient. Her name was Chow. Chow, if you ever watch this, I miss you and adore you. Except for this one moment in time. One time, we got a cat. And about 2 weeks after we got the cat, Chow picked us up from where we were going to school, and I got in the tuk-tuk. As we were going, she looked over at me and said, your cat dead. And I said, what? And she said, your cat dead. And I said, no, Chow. She said, cat dead. I said, Chow, come on. The cat, she said, yeah, cat dead. I said, no, Chow. She said, cat dead. And I went, Chow, please. I'm 6 years old at this point. And then she said, yeah, you see, cat dead. You see when we get home. I get home, and sure enough, the cat was dead in my father's lap with its guts and intestines everywhere because the German shepherds next door had ripped it up. Oh, Chow, I do love you. I love you a lot, but I'm sorry about that situation. Finally, the third and final story. I've been in here for about 5 minutes. Let's go for 5 minutes. So it's getting a little bit cold. Just a little bit cold. My legs are a little bit tingly as well, but I'm still holding on, so it's safe. Okay, the final story. I have a scar on my head, which you may or may not be able to see. Anyway, I got that scar living in Vietnam, and this is what happened. Me and my sister, and my entire family, obviously, we're both children, we don't just go out by ourselves. Me, my sister, my dad and my mother were out at an open air shopping centre. We were just relaxing there, walking around. Me and my sister were playing tips. I tipped her, she tipped me back, and that was the aim of the game. Okay, interesting development in the feeling of my legs. They've now suddenly gotten warm. So I think this is the point where my body said, far out, it is so cold, I'm going to take the blood away from the surface of the skin. So that's what it's done. Oh, my muscles are so soft. What the frick? That is so soft, my lord. I guess that's because the... Wow. Anyway, we're playing tips, I'm chasing Stella. And then at one point, when I'm chasing her, I start going... Please don't ask me why, because I will never know. Anyway, I'm going... So I can't see where I'm going. Turns out, one of the shops had left their glass door open. So this happens, and I run straight into the glass door and shatter it with my 6-year-old head. Pretty amazing stuff. And it isn't actually a shard of glass that cuts it, it's the impact of me hitting the door. Anyway, I'm chilling there. Look, I was there, and I was definitely not chilling. With my head open, bleeding. And my parents are around the corner. I start screaming and crying. They know immediately it's me. That's what they said. The moment they heard the scream, they knew it was me. So they start running. But anyway, there's still a little bit of glass left at the very top of the door, hanging off the top hinge. So I'm like, I didn't see this, obviously. So I'm just like in there, crying, blood streaming down my face. And a Vietnamese man that was just sitting there got out of his chair and pulled me out of the way. About 10 seconds later, this glass, I don't know how big it was, but it was hanging on the hinge. The last bit of glass from the door comes crashing down right at the spot of where I was sitting, which is pretty extraordinary. And so if that man hadn't pulled me out of the way, or if he'd gotten there 10 seconds later, that would have hit my soft skull, and I either wouldn't be here today, or I would be a vegetable. So that's a very important story to my life, and I've got this cool little scar from it. My parents got me in the taxi. We kept trying to say to go to the private hospital. The taxi man kept trying to get us to go to the public. It was a big dilemma. Eventually we got through to him. We got to the private hospital, and they glued it up with frog's blood. Not just frog's blood. They glued it up with a glue mixture that involved frog's blood and other stuff. And it was purple, and then it glued, and then it became something. Okay, I'm so cold, I have to get out. But I gotta dunk my head for the sake of whatever. Alright, I'm out. So this is the plan. I'm gonna go upstairs and into the shower. I think now, as ever, is the more appropriate time to put on the heat fans, which I've done. Okay, I'm out of the pool. It was 9 degrees. My body feels so like soft or something, like there's no blood in the muscles, which is what the body does. Shut up, you're not a fucking scientist. You're 18 years, shut up. So, I'm gonna jump in the shower. My penis is also feeling really strange, so let's check that out. I'm not taking you to look at my penis, I'm just showing you that I'm turning on the shower. You have no idea how small my penis actually is right now. Oh, now would be a great time to tell you about another thing that I read about cold business. The thing is that once you get out of the water, because the blood that's in contact with your skin and therefore in contact with the water. You're not a scientist. What is that? Gets so cold that it starts circulating through your body again, so your core body temperature actually drops after you get out of the water. Mate, I sound insane. I can see myself in the mirror. I look and I can see myself. Look, I'm going insane. Whew, I'm okay. I'm okay. I just hopped out of the shower for a moment. Don't worry, I'm getting back in. Just to show you my hands. They're legitimately purple and orange. It's crazy. Okay, back into the shower. That's my 9-degree pool experience over. Never to be repeated again. That was quite intense. I had an extremely fat shower. That was like probably the longest shower I've ever had, I think. It was like 25 minutes. Can you see that? That's probably the best coffee pour I've ever done. Ooh! That is for sure the best coffee pour I've ever done in my entire life. I worked at a coffee shop for like 6 months and I got nowhere close to anything that good. Hell yeah, baby. Alright, we're gonna move to the bathroom. I recommend you don't do this at home or elsewhere. Unless you're with someone else. I probably should have said or told someone I was doing this before I did it. But I didn't, so do as I say, not as I do. I started the video off with my cat, so I think in order to make my dog not jealous, I'm going to finish it off with my doggo. Here he is. Thank you so much for watching. I had a bit of a good time. Coffee's making me feel a lot better. I've got to go home and recover because I'm going out on the town. Oh, going out tonight. Going out on the TOWN. Oh, fuck, cannot wait. Cannot wait. I will see you next week.